What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of This Week in Sports. It is your lovely host, Romeo Sharp here. We got Noah. He was working on the production, on the behind the scenes. Took a little bit. We had a little bit of issues, but that's okay. But also who we have as well, we have Aquaman himself. I ain't talking about the DC comic character. I ain't talking about Jason Momoa. We talking about Jaren Sorrell. Jaren, how we doing?
Strictly business right now, Romeo. We
You-
got some very important things to talk about
We
today.
do. We actually do. But wait, Jaren, before we get into that, hold on. Look. We're speaking about comics. Look, Comic-Con's coming up this weekend, and we got Fantastic Four coming out this weekend, and you still not even back in town, buddy. Where are you?
Stuck in PA, man. I probably will be here until August.
Ooh,
Sorry.
I'm about to say, damn,
Ooh.
September. God damn. But hey,
I'll be
man.
back sometime in August.
Okay, that's good, man. We need you back here. The audience is craving their Aquaman because you are their Aquaman. I want you to know that you are their Aquaman, my man. So they need you. They need you there. They need you present. Because look, we got a lot of things to talk about, especially when you come around back in town. So, but let's get actually right into it right now, Jared, because I remember we left off last episode. If the audience out there remember, you wanted a list from me of 15 quarterbacks better than Geno Smith. Now, couple of things before we get into it. I do want to say that, Geno Smith himself, he is a consistent quarterback. I'm not going to lie. Now, he's a late bloomer. You know what I'm saying? He didn't get the ball rolling until later on to his career. I mean, we're in the back half. We seem like it could be the back half of his career moving forward. But, like I said, he's been consistent. He's been consistent, when he got to Seattle and he got his chance once Russ left. He kind of took it and ran with it, honestly, and then I think Pete Carroll really helped him out as well. He has some pretty good pieces around that Seattle team. I believe he won comeback player of the year. Am I correct, Darren? He won comeback player of the year. But there's one thing about him, though, that he won't do. He's not going to get you over that hump still. He's not going to give you over that hump. He's not going to win you. I don't think he's going to win you a Super Bowl, Jaron. Let's be real here. Let's be real about Geno Smith. He is, at best, like I said, the 15th, probably even the 16th, 17th. We might even say the 20th best quarterback in the NFL right now, okay? Now, let's get into this list, Jaron. Now, this list, these first couple of people I'm about to name, it's the obvious. It's the people that, any of these top guys you would want as your starting quarterback. One of these guys might be up for debate, but these are the guys that you would want starting quarterback. No questions asked. Geno Smith is getting kicked to the curb for sure, okay? So let's get into it. Let's get into the obvious right here. These are the 10 quarterbacks for sure that will definitely put over Geno Smith. And like I said, obviously for you, Jaron, and then for the people back watching, this list is active NFL quarterbacks, okay? No, we're not going to talk about any ones for the past or anything like that. We're talking about the active ones right now that are starting quarterbacks, okay? Let's get right into it, though, Jaron. So let's look at, like I said, let's look in the obvious. So the obvious. And there's no particular order here, but obviously these are what I consider probably the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. And these quarterbacks would definitely want to be started over Geno Smith. All right? So let's go down this list right here. So boom. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes. Okay? No, we don't have to even talk about it. We don't got to talk about Patrick Mahomes. We've seen what he can do. He does what Geno Smith tries to do 10 times better, okay? And he's
Okay.
He's a Super Bowl champion as well. So let's give Patrick Mahomes. You would take him in a heartbeat. Let's not act like none of us would. Any of our teams would. Number 2, Josh Allen, another guy, MVP by the way, MVP Josh Allen, top guy. Like I said, same, almost everything about him and his mechanics better than Geno Smith. Am I right? Number 3, Lamar Jackson. 2-time MVP, Lamar Jackson. That's another guy that I would like to put over Geno Smith. Don't got to talk too much about it. Now, the next guy here, Jalen Hurts. Now, what has been crazy about Jalen Hurts is there's a lot of disrespect about Jalen Hurts, and I don't know if you've seen Jaron. I don't want to kind of steer too clear off the train tracks, but I don't know if you've seen. But Cam Newton actually said that he didn't think Jalen Hurts was a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, which is
I did see that.
blatantly disrespectful. Cam Newton, please, let's not. He got something that you don't got. He got that bling bling shiny thing on his finger. Okay, so let's not get started here. Alrighty, going up down the list right here, Jaron. We got Joe Burrow. Come on now, Big Joe Burr. Like I said, anybody would want him on their organization for sure. Next on our list, we got Matthew Stafford. Like that's bona fide Super Bowl champ right there too. Jordan Love. You know what I'm saying? He's proved himself. Jordan Love has proved himself to be a really good quarterback in this league. And, he's just getting better each and every year, I think. Each and every year, Jordan Love, the pieces he gets around him, I think he's a way more consistent quarterback than Geno Smith, than what we've seen. The next one, and this is the guy I think is up for debate because, like I said, he's had the same kind of resurgence as Geno Smith himself, but he's a little bit younger than Geno Smith, and we're talking about Baker Mayfield. So Baker Mayfield, number 1 overall pick back in 2018. I think he's probably one of the top premier guys for sure in the NFL right now. Like, if you would need a quarterback, I feel like, yeah, I'd go Baker Mayfield. If it's between Geno Smith and Baker, I'd probably take the Baker route just because of his youthfulness. I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, that's probably why I put Baker Mayfield in that category. The next two guys are some solid guys as well. We got Jared Goff. You know what I'm saying? He's had a resurgence over there in Detroit himself as well. I mean, he wasn't a scrub in LA. He took the Rams to the Super Bowl himself. But he brought the Lions back into the pinnacle of one of the top teams in the NFL. So now when we look at the top teams, it's never the Chiefs anymore. It's never the Eagles or whatever. You're also looking at or the Ravens, the Bills. Those are like the S tier teams. You got the Lions now pushed up into the S tier team, and obviously Dan Campbell's credit for that, but also Jared Goff. You know what I'm saying? So he can push you to that. He can push you to that limit and get you over that hump as well, because he has playoff experience and he's really good at it as well. And the last guy, and this is the guy I think we both can kind of agree. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the faces of the league moving forward too. C.J. Stroud. Now C.J. Stroud. We've seen he's been consistent since he's entered the league, and a lot of people, we hinder Ohio State quarterbacks because Ohio State doesn't produce good quarterbacks coming out. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of these guys really pan out. But C.J. Stroud, he's been playing exceptionally well for the Houston Texans, and I feel like that's another guy that, like I said, if you wanted a starting quarterback, these are the guys you'd pick. Like, no questions asked, I believe. All righty? Okay. So there's my 10. Those are the 10 obvious people we would probably want as our starting quarterback over Geno Smith. Now this is where things get a little tricky, a little dicey, Jaron. This is where it gets a little tricky, a little dicey. But these next guys, there's definitely could be an argument made. So I kind of broke it up into sections here because some of these guys, obviously, too early to tell. And then what is it? Geno Smith has a 2-year contract with the Raiders, correct?
I believe he'd be sitting at 3.
Is it 3 years?
He had 1 year left, and I think he signed a 2-year extension.
Okay, so he'll be at a 3-year deal with them. Okay, so when I look at this too, Jaron, now I'm putting in the factor of potential as well, and for some of these guys, but also some of these guys already proved themselves already. So let's get into it. So our 11th guy that I'll put over Geno Smith as my starting quarterback is Brock Purdy. Now, the moment Brock Purdy stepped onto the field, obviously, look, everyone's going to give him, look, he had these weapons, he had this, the system he's in, this, and that, and the other. Jaron, yes, the system can play a huge part, but also, you have to have the smarts, you have to have the intelligence as a quarterback to, implement and be able to even digest what is being told to you and being able to actually perform with what's in front of you. Because we've seen multiple teams, multiple players. I mean, look, Brock Purdy, what was he? He was Mr. Irrelevant. We've seen number 1 overall picks. Oh, this is the top guy, this, and that. They don't perform. And yes, they might have talent. They might not have talent around them. Brock Purdy has talent. You can't falter him for having talent around him. You know what I'm saying? But with the talent he's produced, he's brought them to, he brought them to a Super Bowl. He's brought them to NFC Championship games. He knows how to win games as well. So Brock Purdy's a winner in himself, okay?
He brought him to a Super Bowl?
Was it him? Or was it Jimmy?
No. I'm just like, that's him though. That's his stat.
I'm not saying he was the one who, like I said, but he's contributed to bringing them to a Super Bowl. Yes, I would give him his props for that. So,
okay.
And then my next guy, though, Jaron, I think this guy, he gets a lot of, slander himself, and because of the team he plays for. So he's kind of polarized himself. He plays for the Dallas Cowboys. We're talking about Dak Prescott. We just talked about him earlier. He had an MVP season not too long ago. We're like 2-3 years removed from Dak Prescott having an MVP season. And also, what is it? With Dak Prescott himself, I believe, you know what I'm saying? Like, prior to his injuries, he's a really good quarterback. He really is. I think, and I think he's a little bit more consistent. And yes, he might have even better weapons than Geno Smith that Geno Smith's had in his career with teams that he's played for. We're gonna really kind of focus on his back half, obviously with the Seahawks, and then now however his stint's gonna go with the Raiders, which will really be the tale over here. Okay. So I got Dak Prescott, okay? So Dak Prescott is my other quarterback that I got that I'll put over Geno Smith. Next, now this guy, for him, I was going to put him in the too early to tell category, but for him, it seems after that 1 year, everyone's raving it. I'm on the train of it too. I'm hopping on the Jaden Daniels train. I definitely would put Jaden Daniels, probably start Jaden Daniels over Geno Smith myself. Now, Jaden Daniels, he was the first quarterback in NFL history to have the first rookie, at least, to have over 3,000, 4,000 passing yards, 800 rushing yards. Like he was doing it on both with his legs and on the air as well. So, and like I said, it kind of goes into that youthfulness too. I mean, Jane Daniels, what is it? He was what? Did he win? I can't remember who won Offensive Rookie of the Year. Actually, Jane, I can't remember. Was it him?
Yes, it was between him and Brock Bowers.
And he won, right?
Yes. Okay,
yeah. So, boom. Rookie of the Year. He played exceptionally well for Washington. And, look, he's probably just going to get better. His potential, it's already up there already in terms of, there's already people ranking him as a top 10 quarterback in this league, Jaron. You've seen the rankings already. Obviously, the hype is real. I'm buying into that hype. Obviously, I think, obviously, with only 1 year under his belt, we need to kind of, think this a little bit through, just a tad bit, but still, I'm kind of buying into the hype. This next guy, Jaron, has better arm talent than Geno Smith, and again, ties into the youthfulness. Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert. Let's be real here, Jaron. If you were to put it in a fork in the road, and you're like, okay, boom, so you can decide for the Raiders. I want Justin Herbert or Geno Smith. What road are you actually taking? Let's be real here.
I mean, both. I mean, as far as the accolades go, both haven't done shit. But I will give you Justin Herbert just because the potential to be, at the point that Geno Smith is in his career. If we look at, Herbert that far into his career, he has the potential to be something very big, sure. But as of right now, I think it would be a debate, but I'm willing to give that to you.
Okay, all right. And then for our next guy, this one is definitely might be a little bit, we'll see how this one pans out. I think Tua, you know what I'm saying? Tua Tagovailoa, I think I'll take him. I'll take Tua. Look, Jaron. Let's just kind of look into it. Look, the situation Tua's been put in. He's kind of recycling through different offense coordinators here and there, and then obviously Miami. It's just kind of a shit show over there in Miami in that locker room. But if you take it out onto the field, Tua, when he's healthy, I think obviously he has the higher ceiling because, like I said, youth is playing a part in this, and then the potential is there. And I think he is, by a smidget, he is a tad bit more efficient than Geno Smith was. I believe even last year too. And then, like I said, when Tua is healthy, we gotta see. This is, I could probably put him in the need to see more category. But as of right now, I think I would even take Tua, over Geno Smith. So those are my 15 quarterbacks, Jaron. But I also have a couple other sections here. So my list goes up to 20. So obviously I have two quarterbacks here.
20 better quarterbacks than Geno Smith?
Listen. And this section right here is kind of going to pan out over the 3 years that he's with the Raiders. So for these two guys, obviously I put them in the too early to tell category. Or there's three guys. What is it? Obviously, Caleb Williams. Still too early to tell. The jury's out on him to see really what kind of quarterback he's going to be. And in those 3 years, I'm gonna keep a close eye on him and on what is it, on Geno Smith in those 3 years. And then the other guy, and it's my boy, it's my dude, Bo Nix. He's too early to tell as well because he's 1 year in, and obviously he struggled in the beginning of the season, but he kind of picked it up. But again, we're looking at that as that's the two guys I'm gonna give a 3 year window, the same as Geno Smith is gonna have with the Raiders. So that's what I'm gonna do right there. Okay. Now these other three guys, though, they've been in the league, but I need to see more. And if I do see more, if they do improve, I can definitely put them over Geno Smith as well. And those three guys are one, Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence, and Bryce Young. Those three guys, look, if those three guys, they have the potential to do it this year. Bryce Young, out of those three, has probably the higher ceiling, I believe. No pun intended, but I mean, they're two of them, those guys are like under 6 foot. But Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence, and Bryce Young, those are my three guys that like I just need to see more. And if they do well this season, I mean, Trevor Lawrence already won a playoff game, so he's already done more than Geno already. So, and then Kyler Murray, obviously his situation, Arizona is definitely difficult for him. But Bryce Young, you've seen what Bryce Young did to finish off the latter half of the year last year, and seeing his confidence grow as a quarterback. And look, the potential is there for him as well. So, Jaron, that's my list. That's my list of all my quarterbacks. Now I want you to kind of chime in and kind of tell me how you feel about that.
Okay, so I'm gonna start here by saying that I will agree with you on when it comes to Pat, Joe Burrow, Lamar, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, obviously Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, C.J. Stroud. This is where I think Geno deserves to be, in around a 10 to 12 range. Okay, Herbert is it's a debatable at this point, and CJ. I'm sorry, did I say I meant Dak? Dak also, yes, he's removed off of an MVP caliber season, but that is arguably the greatest season he's had since 2016. You know what I mean? Like late bloomer, you could say himself, right? In some ways, but we won't. I'm not going to get too deep into that. I'm going to tell you who I absolutely have a problem with as far as who you mentioned. Okay.
Okay.
Absolutely have a problem with. Number one, Brock Purdy. Okay. We talked about Brock Purdy and how he regressed from when he started to this current year. And I'm only going to be talking about last year as far as stats go. Okay.
But injuries play a part too, Jaron. But go ahead.
He played 15 games. Okay. 2 games less than Geno. I mean, sure. It may not be, it may be a factor, but he still played 15 games. He completes a lesser percentage of his passes by 5%. He threw for 600 less yards, and that's where those 2 games could come into to effect. Okay, sure. And he threw 20 touchdowns in those 15 games. I'll give you that. But we always think of wins as a quarterback stat too, right? So you went 6-9 and you completed 65% of your passes, and your team has gotten worse every single year. I'm not accepting Brock Purdy.
Okay, but okay, the reason why.
Let me finish.
Okay,
let me finish. I'm not fucking going for Kyler Murray either. Kyler Murray has been given all the fucking weapons he would ever need and has not been able to produce a season where he can get past the wild card round. He can't. He made it to the playoffs one time. Did they win a game in the playoffs, or I don't think so, right?
No,
am I tripping? No. Okay,
tripping.
thank you. He went 8-9 last year, completed a lesser percentage of his passes, and threw for less yards than Geno Smith. I'm not going for it. Tua Tagovailoa, I get it. He only played 11 games last year. 11. That's it. But in those 11 games, wait. Okay, yes, you were right. In those 11 games, he has a higher completion percentage. Yes, true. But he can't stay healthy, and he hasn't played a healthy full season yet. I just feel like you cannot put him in that conversation. That's my biggest problem with Tua. And then he only played 11 games. Like that's not. I don't. That's too small of a sample size. And he hasn't. When's the last time he played a full season, if he ever did?
I believe it was. It might have
What?
honestly.
Maybe his rookie year.
Nah, because maybe his rookie year, maybe.
So I mean, I just like these guys haven't done enough. Didn't do enough last year to put them above Geno Smith for sure. And the next one I have Jordan Love. Jordan Love, 9 and wins quarterback stat, right? 9 and 6, and he completed 63% of his passes compared to Geno Smith 70, while throwing for almost 800 yards less than he did. And now I just think that the numbers speak for themselves there. Typically. So everyone else, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on Jaden Daniels. I feel like had a too small of a sample size, but I feel like that's also a debate. But Geno Smith is right there from 10 to 12. He's accurate. He's consistent. He didn't make the playoffs last year, but they won 10 games with a very, very bad offensive line. That offensive line ranked was a bottom 10, bottom 5 offensive line coming into last season. And he was still able to put up 4,300 yards and win 10 games. And the defense fucking sucked.
I
Like,
mean,
am I wrong?
we can say that for a bunch of these other players that you just named too. Some of their defenses weren't helping them out. And then what I wanted to get back to on is, see, you lucky I lost my train of thought because I was about to talk to you about it. What was it? Because you were talking about, well, basically, Jaron, look. If you look at some of these guys, majority of those guys you just named, outside of Kyler Murray and maybe Justin Herbert, I'm pretty sure all those guys won playoff games. So, like, if you think about it in the long term of, like, okay, like, I get it, yes, it's not a quarter. We shouldn't really put wins as a quarterback stat. You know what I'm saying? But those quarterbacks, when the lights shine bright, some of these quarterbacks they come out. I mean, Jaden Daniels took them all the way to the goddamn the NFC Championship game as a rookie. Sure. Okay, so and then when we look at people like Brock Purdy, like this is what I was talking about, because in terms of Brock Purdy, his team around him. Last year, the 49ers were one of the most banged up teams. They've been one of the most banged up teams the last couple of years. So obviously he doesn't have that many weapons, and then injury is taking a toll on the team, attrition and all that stuff. I mean, look at their weapons this year. Don't even get me started. I seen a goddamn stat of who their active wide receivers are. It doesn't look too pretty. It does not look pretty at all. Okay, so it's like, you got to take that into account too, at least for Brock Purdy. Like, he's like last year, yes, he had a down year. The Niners themselves had a down year. The reason being is because of injuries. Injuries suck, and it happens. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, if you're great, you'll overcome those injuries as a quarterback or, as a team. But, sometimes it's too much on a team. Like, genuinely, we've seen it happen with the Lions. Like, on the defensive side, like, yeah, they were a great offensive team, but they couldn't overtake the defensive the injuries are on the defensive side. So that's why they couldn't. That's why they had a failure of a year. So it's like, you got to look at like some of those things like that. In terms of Dak Prescott, I mean, shit, he's one of the highest paid quarterbacks. I mean, granted, like I said, look, in terms of the Cowboys, I'm one of the biggest Cowboy haters out there. I don't really like that team. They haven't succeeded since I wasn't even born the last time they did something relevant. You know what I'm saying? So I think, but in terms of Dak Prescott, I really think he's a really. Like I said, look, put these two up on against each other. You're telling me right now you're gonna go Geno Smith, the late bloomer. Yes, I get it, bro. But if we take Geno Smith's whole career, yeah, he's sitting the bench somewhere. Okay.
It's a debate. Because I mean, with Dak Prescott, what has Dak Prescott done? I mean, what has he done? Like you said,
what has Geno Smith done? That's why.
That's why he falls. This is a debate. That's why they're right here with each other. They're right here. They both ain't did shit. But who's a more consistent passer? Who's a more, like, we could go and look into all those stats. But I mean, I think that's where it gets debatable. That's where he is right there, like with the Dak Prescott and the like the Baker Mayfield area. Like, he's around there, and I think it's disrespectful to put him below Trevor Lawrence, who played 10 fucking games. And in those 10 games, threw 2,000 yards. Hold on. He threw for 2,000 yards. 10 games only threw 11 touchdowns. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
No. Okay, wait. For the Trevor Lawrence, like I said, for Kyler, Trevor, and Bryce Young, those three guys. Yes, Bryce Young got benched mid-season as well, and then
For fucking Andy Dalton.
listen. But I put them in their own separate category of need to see more. If these three play well in their next 3 years, then or they play even at the same level as Geno Smith, you're telling me you're not taking them?
Who?
Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence, or Bryce Young? Trevor Lawrence has been.
We've seen enough of these guys. Trevor Lawrence, if this year does not work for them, with all
They gave him an extension. They gave him an extension.
Sure. But I promise you, either that whole front office has got to go for giving him an extension, or he's gonna go. They're like, he's been given.
So the jury's out on him. You're saying
the jury's out on Trevor Lawrence. The jury is out on Kyler Murray.
What about Bryce Young?
Bryce Young, he came on late last year. I feel like he's gonna bloom a little more. But yeah, I mean, you could say the same thing. You were a number 1 overall pick. You did not produce as a number 1 overall pick these first 2 years in the league for him.
Shit, all three of those guys are number 1 overall pick.
Exactly, bro. Like, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. Kyler Murray maybe should have stuck to baseball. I don't know. Like, it's just I no. Like, these guys have been given enough time and have had more than enough opportunity to show why they're worth the top pick that they were taken at. Simple. Geno Smith, what pick was he? Was he a number 1 overall pick?
Nah, he's like at the 3rd or 4th round for the Jets.
So we don't even expect him to be this level of quarterback that he's at currently. I mean, if he's that type of pick, 3rd or 4th round, we don't even expect him to get to this point. You expect Trevor Lawrence to be in this conversation with Joe Burrow, Lamar, and Josh Allen. You expect Trevor Lawrence to be there. You expect Kyler Murray to be in that top 10 conversation, but they're not. And why is that? They can't capitalize on the opportunities they've been given.
Yeah, Geno Smith was drafted 39th overall in the 2013 draft by the Jets. So, I mean, then he did go to the Jets. So, and that's a nightmare in itself. So, but overall though, Jaron, look. But we can agree though, like that. Okay, I guess besides Jordan Love, I believe, and that's what you're saying. Let me see. Wait, if we count this out, let's see. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You said CJ Stroud's good or no?
CJ Stroud's good. I put CJ Stroud 9, and then you got Baker, Dak, Geno 10, 11, 12. I don't think that's a problem. You can put them anywhere you want.
You're lucky this is an active list, and the quarterback talent is a little bit, scarce right now, if we're being honest here, because if we're being real, after 10, I feel like there's a kind of a bit of a dip. I feel like, a little bit of a dip in terms of the quarterback play. So, you know what? It's like it goes 10. All right, so this is how it will go. It goes 10, and then 11, and then 12, and then 12.
Okay.
Or is that DTM? Is that DTM?
We're just moving the goalpost here. We're just moving the goalpost.
Hey, but I want to know what you guys think down below. You know what I'm saying? Who do you think? Where do you rank Geno Smith in the active quarterback rankings? Is he top 15? Is he top 10? Maybe to some of you guys. Jaron believes he's right there at the 10 to 12 range. Which like I said, he's been consistent. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna fault him for that. I'm not gonna, fault him for his shortcomings in New York. So, but you guys let me know down below.
He didn't write back, Romeo. He didn't write back.
He didn't write back, and he also beat my Broncos in his first game too, which was kind of sickening. But he didn't do shit. I think he threw for less than 100 yards or something. But whatever. Jaron, but talking about quarterbacks, let's kind of talk about the people that hunt the quarterbacks, right? So Jaron, TJ Watt, he finally gets paid, right? So I think after tugging and pulling all offseason, Jaron, the Steelers have officially signed TJ Watt to a contract extension. It's a 3-year, $123 million contract. This is making him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. By the way, for the second time in his career, which is kind of crazy. So in this 3 years that he's making this contract, he's making just as much as his brother, JJ Watt, legend right there, JJ Watt has made in his entire career. Money is just flowing in the NFL, and he's making annually $41 million, about $1 million more than what Myles Garrett is making over there in Cleveland. So look. Another thing about the Steelers, since drafting TJ Watt in 2017, Jaron, their record with him is 79, 44, and 2. Without him, though, it's a measly 1 and 11, Jaron. So before I get into my thoughts, Jaron, how do you feel about this contract extension for TJ?
It's what should have happened, like he deserves it. Same thing, like, they made Myles Garrett the highest non-paid quarterback at the beginning of the summer, and then TJ Watt took that spot, rightfully so. This kind of just, not to stray away from this specific player, but it kind of tells me that guys like Micah Parsons, even like Max Crosby, like these guys, like they're resetting the market for these guys to get paid a lot. And it also tells me that the Bengals are very cheap.
Yeah, so like, I completely agree with you in that sense of like just resetting the market because that's in terms of Michael Parsons, like definitely he's gonna get his money too for sure. But looking at T.J. Watt, I believe, like I said, this is well deserved because I mean he's one of the best defensive players in the game right now, and it literally shows. Like I said, see the record, you see what they do without him. Even when he's off the field, I don't know if you watched any Steelers games in the past. When he has to go take a break or something, it looks like that Steelers defense kind of just takes a plumb, like it just takes a little dip down below. You know what I'm saying? Like it like not even that it takes a dip, but it like plateaus because it doesn't go over like that hump as a really good defense unless TJ Watt's there because he attracts so much attention. Once you get all that attention off the field, then it's like, okay, who else? No disrespect to Alex Highsmith. He's a really good pass rusher himself over there in Pittsburgh as well. And obviously the legend, the Steelers legend, Cameron Hayward. No disrespect to him either. Like, they got some dogs over there. They do got some dogs, but it's just like teams are molding, and no one can tell me they're not. They're definitely molding their offensive game plan or whatever it is. Like, look, we're pinpointing. I mean, we've seen it on what is it? Hard Knocks. Like we've watched the other divisional teams say, look, this is the guy, this is the game record right here. They say it about each other though too. Like obviously for Myles Garrett because he's a game record. In terms of TJ Watt, like I said, I was nervous though because it looked like contract negotiations were not going too well, and it thought it was probably especially with the state of the NFL right now, we got all these owners that are being stingy towards these top guys that deserve top dollar. You know what I'm saying? Like. And they want to say things about availability, whatever, this and that. But like when these guys do show up, they're winning you games. They win you games. They will single-handedly win you a game. And I've seen TJ Watt. I've witnessed TJ Watt, and they need to look at his history. His brother. Okay, we've watched the Watt brothers literally single-handedly win football games for their franchises. So it's like,
yeah,
like I said, game record, and then obviously again. It speaks for itself. He's one of the keys. He's key to the Steelers, like honestly, and he's for success for this upcoming season. So, my question for you though, Jaron, like I know we kind of looked over the AFC North like 3 weeks ago, I believe it was. Do you think with TJ Watt locked up, is this going to be enough for them to get a good playoff run?
I mean, they're definitely a playoff team. I don't think that changes, but. I don't think that. I mean, he is one of the only guys in the NFL that can single-handedly change a game for sure. But I still think it's gonna fall more on the 40-year-old back behind the court, at quarterback. But deep playoff run, dude, man, you got the Chiefs, you got the fucking Bills, you got the Ravens. I don't know about deep, but I think they put up a fight against any team they see for sure.
So for that 40-year-old quarterback, would you take him over Geno?
Hell no, not right now. Hell no. That nigga's fucking popping pills and taking all types of drugs. I don't want that.
That is crazy. That was some crazy shit you said. But hey, I want to know what you guys think down below about this extension. I know I got some some of my friends Steeler fans. My boy Trey out there, I'm sure he's excited about locking up TJ Watt, their franchise cornerstone right there. They're definitely gonna have still one of the best defenses in the NFL. We just got to see how this thing plays out for sure. But like I said, let me know what you guys think down below about this TJ Watt contract extension. Was it well deserved, or do you truly believe that they need something else to really get the ball rolling for them? All right, Jaron. So let's kind of like take a quick transition out of football and get right back into the NBA, the state of the NBA world. for the last couple weeks, we've been doing analysis on a couple teams each and every week. Just kind of glossing over what they did the season before, and then kind of giving predictions about what's going on, what's going to happen moving forward for them. So we're staying on the West Coast, Jaron. I was going to only go with the other two California teams, but I thought I should probably plop in the other West Coast teams in Portland. So we're going to talk about Sacramento, Golden State, and the Portland Trail Blazers right now, Jaron.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take a quick look at all these teams and like how they fare this last season. So for the Warriors, Jaron, they went 48-34. They were the 7th seed in the West. They beat the Grizzlies in the play-in tournament to get that 7th seed, and then beat the Rockets actually, which was probably one of the biggest upsets in the playoffs last season. I don't know if you can attest to that as well, but they beat the Rockets in 7 games in the first round, but then they ultimately lost to Minnesota in 5 in the next round after that. It kind of played a part with Steph being injured as well. Some key. Well, there's actually nothing. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not joking when I tell you guys this. There's nothing that they actually did this offseason. The Warriors had done nothing but lost Kevon Looney. I believe that's about it, Jaron. That's all they've really done. They added, obviously, what was it, before the trade deadline? They added Jimmy Butler, but that's about it. That's all the moves they really made. There's not much on this Warriors team. I don't want you to think I'm glossing over them, but I'm kind of glossing over them because there wasn't much that they did. They didn't do much, Jaron. And we'll get into them after I talk about these other two teams as well. Now for Sacramento, they went 40-42. They were the 9th seed, so they got that play-in spot right there. They lost in the play-in round to the Mavericks, which I think was kind of a shocker too, I believe, because everyone kind of wrote off the Mavs at that 10th seed. I think a lot of people wrote them off after they traded Luka away. So they were able to get a win in the play-in, so that was pretty cool for the Mavs. But in terms of the Kings, I feel like they've been kind of doing the same thing over and over again. Like I said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. I feel like the Kings are kind of an insane organization for sure. Again, but some key guys that they added. So they added Zach LaVine at the trade deadline earlier this year as well. They actually brought in Dennis Schroeder. And what is it? Isn't Dennis Schroeder, Jaron, on like a NBA tour himself? He's trying to be on all 30 teams, it seems like. So, and then they also got that contract, and they trade away Jonas Valanciunas for Dario. Is it Dario Saric? I think it is, or Saric. I don't know how to actually pronounce his name.
Yeah,
Saric. So, and then they also drafted 5th-year senior Nick Clifford out of Colorado State University. So that's your senior. Don't do him dirty. Don't do him dirty like that, Jeremy. Damn.
With NIL, that's normal. So
that is normal. So, and then for Portland, let's go up north a little bit to Portland. They went 36-46, Jaron. They were the 12th seed in the West. Some key things that they done. They added Drew Holiday via trade, and they also added a familiar face who was probably the staple of that franchise. They brought back Damian Lillard, Jaron, and they also drafted in the first round Yang Hansen from China, a 7-foot center. I kind of watched one of his. Hey, you think he can get away with making him say the N-word? He was like nigga or something.
Oh, what?
But yes, that's what Portland did there, Jaron. And they lost a couple guys themselves, obviously within those trades, and obviously just the free agents, or like what is it, DeAndre Ayton? He had a buyout with them, so he didn't want to play for Portland. Before I get into it, Jaron, let me get your thoughts about. Let's start off with Golden State, Jaron. How do you feel about this Golden State team?
Man, they adding Jimmy Butler put them in the playoffs, but not adding anyone else keeps them at the same spot. It might make them worse just because everyone else in the West got better, like literally. So you're already in a competitive fucking conference and you make 0 offseason moves. That's pretty crazy. With this is Steph's final year on his contract. If not this year, the next year is his final year. You're not going to get this guy to sign another extension if you're not willing to commit the assets to him to build a winning team, which just doesn't look like they're trying to do that.
Yeah, and I want to piggyback off that, Jared. Like, I truly believe like they have made no major moves, and like I said, this could be a cause for concern. And I don't know What's in store for Steve Kerr and company? Like, I don't know what's really in store for them. And I mentioned it last week. I don't know if I mentioned it last week or whenever, but I feel like they really are heavily relying on Steph and Draymond. Like, like what are we doing here? And then I think the other key thing too, is like they still don't have no big. They don't have a big
Mhm.
over there. They're playing small ball, and it's not really going in their favor. Honestly, obviously it worked against the Houston Rockets, but the Rockets are just a young team, so I feel like maybe it was just the youthfulness that kind of was their downfall. You know what I'm saying? And then I think it just seems also that all the young talent that they do get, they feel abandoned. You know what I'm saying? We've talked about that. We talked about, like, we've had so many Jonathan Kaminga. We had Kevon Looney come out and speak. We had so many people come out and speak about how they feel like they're just not being trusted, or that the organization feels like they're not even wanting to help them grow. You know what I'm saying? So that's a huge thing, for Golden State. And again, I feel you too. I think they got worse. Like, I mean, they didn't improve at all. So, I still probably got them as a fringe maybe playing team, just because it's Steph, and then Jimmy Butler, and then you
Right.
can't count them
Yeah.
out. Maybe, maybe as high as maybe the eighth, but I mean, as low as the 10th. As low as the 10th is playing, like that last playing spot. So that's kind of how I feel about them. What says you?
I mean, you got the Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Thunder, Spurs, Rockets. I'll take the Mavs over them. Fucking, I'll take New Orleans over them right now. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm already at 8. Yeah. So they're definitely a 9 to 10 seed as of right now. I mean, you're
Mm.
running. If you play a center, like you said, they don't have one, but if you do, you got fucking Quentin Post. Like it's bad for them. It's bad.
It's getting bad, but it's also getting bad for this other team. I feel like for Sacramento, the other team in California, and I really feel bad. I know, like, Sacramento fans, like, I feel like I said, bro, they might be going insane themselves, bro. Like, there's never ever nothing, not much flashiness for them. I think they're another French playing team for sure. I feel like I don't know. I feel like they kind of took a step back this offseason. They got a promising young core. They do. They got some pieces around them. That two. So Nick Clifford, he's actually a two-way guard who, obviously probably not gonna get starting minutes, but he's definitely gonna come off the bench and probably make an impact and be in the rotation for this young team. But again, for this SAC team, I don't know. I don't see too much, going their way, going for them. Again, like I said, everyone else around in the Western Conference got so much better. And it's like, okay, you guys kind of added a little bit here and there, but you were already a fringe playoff playing team last year. I'm saying they might miss the playoffs, and they might be the 11th seed. You know what I'm saying? They're right there. Like I said, it's a young, promising team. What is it, Keegan Murray? Like, I mean, they got some guys over there. So, but it's just they just need more. They just need more. They need to be able to bring in more talent. You know what I'm saying? What says you?
I mean, they had it right. Like they had
They
it.
did have it.
You had Tyrese Halliburton. You had De'Aaron Fox. You drafted Davion Mitchell. You drafted Keegan Murray. Like that's your young core right there, right? Okay, De'Aaron Fox isn't happy that you drafted another point guard. So then you decide to trade Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton turns into fucking the reincarnation of Magic Johnson. You're gonna regret that. I mean, you got Sabonis in return, and it was kind of even at first,
Mm-hmm.
but as we look at it, like this year, especially with them making a fucking appearance in the finals, they definitely won that trade. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you bring in Zach Levine and DeMar DeRozan. You brought in two unks, and you got older, and then DeMar DeRozan's gone. He's gone. Where did DeMar DeRozan go? Didn't he
Uh,
re-sign somewhere else?
Let me see. I don't think he's gone. Oh, I don't think he's gone yet. There. I think he's
Clear
still.
that throat.
Wow. Yeah, no,
Is he still?
he's still with the Kings. He's still with the Kings.
So you got your so as of right now, your core is. I mean, let me continue actually. So I mean, you trade away Tyrese Halliburton to make De'Aaron Fox happy. Then De'Aaron Fox ends up leaving regardless. Trade away Davion Mitchell. Like you got rid of your entire young core to bring in more experienced players, which are DeMar DeRozan and Zach Levine. And then you got Sabonis. Like that's not a big three that's
Mm-hmm.
gonna produce a winning season. It's not a top 5 seed type of season. I don't know. They seem confused. Like they don't have an identity. They don't know what they want to do.
Ooh, that's good right there. I feel like they've never had an identity
Right.
over there in Sacramento, and also what? Because correct me if I'm wrong, but I think when they lost to the Mavs in the play-in, weren't the Mavs banged up already themselves? Like the Mavs
It
are,
was AD. It was AD himself that
yeah,
did that shit.
yeah. So like, and the Mavs are already banged up. It was just AD versus the Kings, and the Kings still couldn't, they couldn't, push themselves through what? Because I think their best season. I mean, they're a couple years removed from being like what, being like the seventh seed and what? Oh, remember Light the Beam? Remember all that? Remember all that shit?
They were the 3 seed.
They were the three
The
seed. That's
the
crazy.
the year the Nuggets won, they were the 3 seed, and they got bounced out in the first round by the Warriors.
They were Light the Beam. That was their identity.
I thought it was 4-5.
I thought what? Yeah, was it 4-5? Are you sure it was three?
I don't think they were a top 3 seed.
There's no way.
I'm pretty sure. I'll look at it, but
They might have touched the top 3 seed, but they didn't stay for sure. I'm pretty sure it was either 4-5 with Warriors.
no, because that was the year we went to the Western Conference Finals. We were the 7, and I'm pretty sure the Warriors were the 6. I'm pretty sure.
What year was that? Was that 21?
23.
Ugh.
Let me see here. 23, 24. Okay. You're right. No, in 23 they were the 4th seed.
Nah, it looks like right here too that they were in 2022, 2023, they were the third seed.
Oh, so the year before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn, that's
So
crazy.
you go from 3 seed to 4 seed, two pretty
That was with
consistent
Mike. That was with
years.
Mike Brown too, and they let go of
Right.
Mike Brown. So I don't know. So
What the fuck are they doing? They don't know what they want to do at all.
So yeah, like I said, I mean, I personally think they're probably gonna miss the playoffs this year. Like I said, because everyone else around them in the conference got better. As we move on, let's move on to this next team. And Jaron, I feel like you have I would say you kind of have like a strong opinion about this Portland team. I feel like you have, or like you have a little bit of a spark, or like a little bit of belief in this Portland team. I kind of want to get your opinion real quick. How do you feel about this Portland team?
I think with you trade for Drew Holiday, and when you look at it all, like who they traded Drew Holiday and got back in return and all of this good stuff, they still had those pieces, and then they get Drew Holiday back again. You re-sign Damian Lillard. This is a team, and then they had a good draft, and they already had good young players. This is a team that's constructing itself to be a very good playoff team in like 2 years. I truly believe that. Just how OKC has been doing it, just how who else was pretty homegrown these past couple years that have come up. Like, I mean, even like kind of like Boston. Boston has put some pieces around their core, but they, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are the focal point. They've got some guys that they're bringing in, and they're gonna get some chemistry together and be dangerous. Chinese Jokic, I watched him in summer.
Hey,
summer
that's
league.
what I'm saying. Hey, yeah, is that his nickname right now? Because he's kind of balling over there. And I guess
The big carrot, whatever you want to call him.
what was it? They said, because I looked into it too. For our boy right here, for Chinese Jokic, for Yang. What is it? They said he had a higher assist rating, like a higher assist rate than the other 15 guys taken in front of him. So like he obviously knows how to dish the ball around, and obviously now he has someone like he got other guys around him. He got the veteran and Drew Holiday that's gonna probably help him out tremendously. This is exciting. I can see the excitement. I can definitely see the excitement there. I know, obviously, one of our other boys kind of disagreed with you a little bit on that sense, which I see. You can see both sides of the argument for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Of course, I can see in 2 years them not amounting to much. None, because some of these guys don't.
Shit, getting 35 wins would be a W for them. I feel like
This year without Dame, that's where they're probably going to be at, and they'll probably be outside of the play-in. I think their ceiling is a play-in team this upcoming year, just because you got so many guys that are on that. They got a 9 to 10 man rotation, and then when Dame comes back,
because he's not playing this year though. But
right, you add veterans with high level gameplay experience. In Dame, you got Drew, who's got championship level experience, and then Denny. You've still got Scoot, Shaden Sharp, Klingon, Hansen, what is it, Tumani? Like
Mhm.
there's all fucking Matisse Thybulle. Like this team is deep. Like it's deep. They could do something this year if they play well together, but in the next 2 years, for sure, they're gonna be something. And people will be like, oh, what about they lost DeAndre Ayton? They lost Anthony Simons, Shaden Sharp, Donovan Clingan. Those are two guys that are gonna step up and get a lot more of the share and the role that they had on the team.
Mhm.
And I think that they're more than capable of being producing at the Anthony Simons level and DeAndre Ayton level. Easily.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I would say, and I'm feel like, and from what I'm getting from you is you probably this year is probably like a get everyone in check kind of year, and everyone just kind of let's try to build this chemistry now, and then once Dame gets back, let's just go full forward and try to get again. Like I said, the West is tough, man. Like it's not the end of the world if they are on the brinks of the outside looking in. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that will be improvement. I feel like Portland fans should be excited regardless, even if
Right.
they get that 11 seed like right there. They're just right there. Like obviously they missed a game or two or something like that. Not this year though. I don't know. Like I said, like maybe this year it's gonna be a little bit tougher for them for sure. Obviously, because they're a young team for sure. But they got that defensive presence, that veteran presence from Drew Holiday as well. So I'm sure he'll know, try to get them guys in line and get them going over there in Portland. So
When you look at them last year, they like in the second half of the season, they put together a stretch where they like at one point they were like 10-1 through 11 games. Like they were playing great basketball. They can continue to build off of that and continue to be a team that is, still young but dangerous, like dangerous. And I think personally they could be better than the Warriors this year.
oof. That's
I don't, you know what I mean? Like that may be crazy to say, but they're a way better team as far as 1 through 10 on their team versus the Warriors. They're way better, way better.
Well, I want to know what you guys think down below about these three teams. Obviously, the Warriors, again, they didn't make no moves at all this offseason. Same squad running it back as last year. We have Sacramento as well. And then we also got Portland. I want to know what you guys think about these teams down below. What's your expectations for them? Like, do you think one of these teams could probably surprise us? Because the Warriors have another finals run-esque like they did a couple years ago out the blue. Let me know what you guys think down below. All right, Jaron. Now we're going to transition over back to football. We're going to talk about the AFC South this week, Jaron, which I would like to call probably one of the weakest divisions in football for sure in the AFC South, which consists of the Texans, the Colts, Jags, and Titans. Let's kind of get into it before we give our predictions and our thoughts of these four teams. Now, for the Texans, Jaron, they were our division's winners last year. They went 10-7. They beat the Chargers in the wild card round, but lost in the divisional to the Chiefs. Some key additions for the Texans was Ronald Darby, Trenton Brown, Cam Robinson. They also traded for Christian Kirk, Ed Ingram, and also C.J. Gardner-Johnson, actually. And they also drafted Iowa State Cyclone teammates, Jaden Higgins and Jalen Knowles. And then also they drafted Ariante Ezere, the offensive tackle, as well. And they also extended Derek Stingley Jr. and Jalen Petrie, their top defensive guys over there in the back half of the secondary. Now, if you look at the Colts, they went 8-9 last year and they missed the playoffs. Some key guys they added was Daniel Jones, Travaris Ward, and then Cam Bynum. They also drafted Tyler Warren and also JT Tuimala'u. And then for the Jaguars, they went 4-13. They missed the playoffs obviously as well. They've added Jordan Lewis, Eric Murray, Dwayne Brown, and they also drafted obviously the two-way guy in Travis Hunter. And then for the Titans, they missed the playoffs with only 3 wins last year. They added Xavier Woods, Kevin Zeitler, Draymond Jones, Van Jefferson, Dante Moore Jr., Cody Barton, Tyler Lockett, and then obviously they drafted Cam Ward, and they also signed Xavier Restrepo undrafted, so his teammate. So let's kind of look into it right now, Jaron. So before I want to go, I want to hear your thoughts about this AFC South and what are your predictions and where do you think these teams stand coming into next January?
Yeah. I mean it's a weak division, especially last year. I think the Colt, as I'm looking at their standing, the Colts having 8 wins last year is absolutely crazy to me. I don't know how they did
Yeah,
that.
they were on the brinks. They were on the brinks of trying to make the playoffs. They were on the playoff run, like they were. So
Yeah. Yeah, but I think they regress hard this year just because you got it's Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson. That's it's a pretty that's a tough, pill to swallow when it comes to those quarterbacks. The Jaguars and the Titans really, added a lot to their rosters. I think the Jaguars, just because Trevor Lawrence has a lot more experience in the NFL than Cam Ward, I think the Jaguars are going to be the team that takes a bigger step as far as their record. I think they win maybe 3 to 4 more games this next year, which would be good for them. It'd be a stepping stone for sure. The Titans, I think they'll be in the same boat just because they've got a lot of young guys on the team that they're going to be relying on, especially at the quarterback position. I mean, Cam Ward's great, but never know with these rookie guys, with these rookie quarterbacks. And then the Texans are the Texans. CJ Stroud's a baller. Can't you know what I mean? I think they got the division on lock easy.
definitely, I can agree with you in there in terms of the Texans, Jaron. I think because they lost Tank Dell, they lost Tank Dell for next year, and also they were top 5 in sacks allowed last year as well. And we've seen that they addressed both issues right there: wide receiver depth. And then also upgrading the offensive line for CJ Stroud, because obviously you got to protect your moneymaker right there. So protect CJ
Mm-hmm.
Stroud, you can win. You can win games. And then look, and again for this division at least, they look like the most well-rounded team for sure. And then also the
Mm-hmm.
defense got a boost in that secondary with some of them signings too, and also extending Derek Stanley Jr., who probably is a top 3, top 4 corner in the league right now. Again, I see them winning the division, and then also I think CJ Stroud. Hey, this is what I think. CJ Stroud's going to be in talk for MVP this year. Keep that. Hey, keep an eye out for CJ Stroud. He's going to be in the MVP conversation this year for sure. He's kind of understanding it a little bit more each and every time he steps on the field. It just seems like he's learning more and more. You know what I'm saying? Like he just got that in him. So I got them having a solid season. I got them going 11-6, winning the division outright. So as
Let
for
me
the
ask you this.
yeah, what's up?
Oh no, actually continue. Go,
Yeah,
go
I
ahead and
got you.
finish. Go ahead and finish.
So for the Colts, obviously, I think we both kind of agree. The biggest question mark is who's going to be the starting quarterback. They also lost some key pieces on the offensive line, but the defense had kind of a slight improvement as well. In terms
Mm.
of Tyler Warren, who they drafted, he's an offensive rookie of the year candidate, I believe. He's definitely going to be in the conversation. But again, it depends on who's going to get him the ball. Kind of in the sense of he could have a Brock Bowers esque kind of season because they had like different quarterbacks throwing them the ball here and there.
Ooh, pump your brakes, buddy.
My
Pump
fault.
your
My fault. But in terms of Tyler Warren, he definitely could. If Daniel Jones could get a resurgence, like how we've seen some of these quarterbacks, they could get a shot at the wild card spot, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's if he actually plays well. But I highly doubt it. If I'm being real, I'm gonna give them a 7-10 record. Not too much of a dip because obviously they went 8-9, but 7-10 they regress just a tad bit, just because like I said, we don't know what the big question mark is for quarterbacks. So as for the Jags, I think they have same as I thought you were thinking. I think they have a slight improvement. I really do. Like I said, I'm excited for what Travis Hunter is going to do and what if he'll become one of Trevor Lawrence's favorite weapons. You know what I'm saying? And like speaking of him, in terms of Trevor Lawrence, I gotta see something out of him this year. I think we've all been waiting to see this Trevor Lawrence that these analysts call the generational player. Because you remember back then, you remember when he got drafted, they thought of him as a generational player in Trevor Lawrence. And so I'm waiting to see that. Again, they made some adjustments, I believe, and improvements, but I don't think it's enough to get them back into that playoff, S kind of realm. But they go 8-9. I think they do improve from last year. Like you said, like four wins. That's a pretty big jump for the Jags. As for the Titans, Jaron, I think they got their franchise guy. But if you look at the offense, it's lackluster. It's pretty lackluster on the offensive side of the ball. Albeit, Calvin Ridley is not no scrub. He's a 1,000-yard producing receiver. But there's not much else going on around them. I mean, really, is Van Jefferson your wide receiver too? Let's be real. You know what I'm saying? Or is Tyler Lockett?
Yeah.
Like Tyler Lockett's a wide receiver 4 at best now. No disrespect to him. He's a great wide receiver, but he's not what he used to be. He's not what he used to be for sure.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But
fair
like
enough.
the defense, improved a little bit as well for the Titans. I do got them going 6-11 and being dead last in the division though. So you had something to say.
Yeah, I was just looking at, because you said the Colts will win 7 games. I went ahead and just peeked at their schedule again just to see it, and yeah, I don't got them winning more than 4 games personally.
Really?
But that's a whole another thing. I was gonna say, I wanted to ask you. So I know we're talking about this division in particular, but when we look at, because you said C.J. Stroud MVP conversation. So when we look at the AFC as a whole, how do you think that the Texans would match up against the other divisions? What would I say? Like the first place in
the division winners. I mean,
Right.
they could. It depends. I mean, obviously the AFC West is probably going to run through the Chiefs again. And then for the AFC North, that's up for debate. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe the Bengals, maybe the Ravens, maybe the damn Steelers. But regardless, all 3 of those teams, they could probably put a whooping on the Texans. But what was it? The AFC East, it's the Bills, outright Bills. I don't see them really doing much against the Bills, but I don't see them standing too well against these other AFC divisional winners or potential winners for sure. I don't,
Right.
but I mean, look what he did last year. I mean, everyone kind of thought the Chargers would go in and kind of smack up on the Texans, but they proved otherwise. And then obviously they can't get over that divisional hump. That's the one thing with the Texans. They can win a wild card game, but then once that divisional round comes, they just everything kind of goes downward for them. So that's kind of what I think.
Ever since the Deshaun Watson days, remember KC made that crazy ass comeback?
24-0 comeback, man. That was when we knew the NFL was in trouble, when fucking Patrick Mahomes was able to do something like that, man.
That was crazy.
But it seems like we're kind of on the same page here in terms of this division. It's weak as hell. It's weak as hell for one. And then for 2, we only got 1 team making it out the AFC South, with the other ones all having losing records. Is that what I'm hearing from you too as well?
Yeah, man. Besides the Texans, this team, the last 3 teams might be on the negative side of the win-loss column for sure.
But I think, when we look at this division, I think it's the most, mind you, it might be the worst out of all of them, might be the weakest, but it definitely would be the most exciting because, like I said, we have Trevor Lawrence, you got C.J. Stroud, Cam Ward, and then Travis Hunter as well. You got some dogs over there, like some people that can definitely be potential faces of the NFL coming forward or whatever it is, or some guys that can definitely be in conversations. Like Cam Ward's going to be a offensive rookie of the year candidate for sure as well. Hopefully he has a good year. Travis Hunter is going to be a defensive and offensive rookie of the year candidate. So hey, there's a lot of excitement over there. Like I said, I truly think C.J. Stroud is definitely he's gonna put his name up there in the MVP conversation this year, if not offensive player of the year. So one of those 2 things. So. But I want to know what you guys think down below about this AFC South division. Again, I truly think it's one of the weakest. I know a couple Titans fans. I know a couple Colts fans here and there. Like, I know some folks out there. But overall, let me know what you guys think down below. Am I crazy for thinking C.J. Stroud's an MVP finalist? Maybe. But you guys let me know. I want to hear what you think.
The Colts have fans?
Yeah, they do actually. They have some fans. I don't know where they're at though. All in Indiana, back home. But with that being said, Jaron, we are now entering our speed round. Jaron, in this speed round, actually, we're talking about awards here. And let me get into this real quick. Let's see. Let me find this out right here. Hold on. Let's see. Where is that at? So, Jaron, LeBron wants an NBA Offensive Player of the Year award. Jaron, how do you think about that?
I mean, yeah, is that not what kind of the MVP is?
Honestly,
no, not really. Kind of, but not really, because you got a Defensive Player of the Year, and you got MVP. I mean, I guess if you have a depoy, you should have an offensive too. It makes sense. I would agree.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense, but I mean, yeah, I feel like the MVP is kind of the Offensive Player of the Year because, I mean, look at SGA winning it last year. I mean, he led the league in scoring, so I mean, yeah, it kind of falters in that realm for sure, I think. But
Got 3 of them motherfuckers.
But I'm like, now I'm thinking, I'm like, how are they even, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're just going to focus on offense. Because what if you're really like just, I mean, get it? Like, I get it. You know, in basketball, you have to kind of be good on both sides, on offense and defense. In the NFL, you're solely stuck to one position. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what if you're just dog ass on defense and then like, okay, boom, we're gonna give you the offensive player of the year, but you're probably one of the worst defensive players ever.
Well, now that I think about it, I mean that's what they have the scoring title for. They
Mm-hmm.
have the assist title for. I mean, the scoring title is basically you being the offensive MVP of the year. I think that's kind of, I think that would kind of correlate, you know, in the NFL sense, like how they have that. You would just be changing the name of that award. Actually, now that I think
Yeah,
about it,
essentially. I mean, but I get where LeBron's coming from. I mean, I don't know if he's gonna be the one to win it because I mean, if they break, I mean, he's not gonna probably be here for when they even implement it. Honestly, so you know, he should have probably said that back in like 2012 or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're
Yeah.
a couple decades too late, partner. But that's okay. Next thing, Jared. Look. Philip Rivers officially retires as a Charger. Now he already retired. What was that? I think he retired last year actually, but now he's officially made it known that he wants to retire as a Charger. He went on a state. I ain't gonna lie, this is kind of aura. He's like, I'm Philip Rivers, quarterback, and I'm retiring as a Charger. I ain't gonna lie, that's kind of cold. That's cold. So again, Jared, Philip Rivers, he's 43. He was acquired by the Chargers in 2004 in the NFL draft. He wanted to play 16 seasons for the Chargers. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler, and he was named NFL Comeback Player of the Year in 2013. Jared, where do you put Philip Rivers in? Is he Hall of Fame to you?
yes, easily a Hall of Famer. I mean, look at I've got this Raider hat on, and I can definitively say that San Diego Chargers, when you think of the San Diego Chargers, you think of Antonio Gates, Philip Rivers, and you think of LaDainian
Lane
Tomlinson.
Yep.
Those 3 right there. And Philip Rivers dude was playing for damn near 20 years for that team, you know, 15 years. Like he
He gave it
was
his
the
all.
face of the franchise. Yeah, he was the face of the franchise
Didn't
for
he
a
play?
long
Was it the conference or was it a divisional? It was a playoff game for sure. He had a torn ACL and he still played on it. That hey,
time.
hey.
Demon. He's a literal demon.
I mean, and then I know he always has his on-field antics as well. I don't know if you ever seen like the clips of him talking his mesh and stuff like that. I mean, he talks like because what is he? I don't know. I don't know exactly where he's from, but like he has like that southern like kind of Mississippi. Yeah, he has like that Mississippi kind of like vibe to him for sure. And what's it? Doesn't he have an NFL roster on his of kids too?
So funny story. He's got like 10 kids. Yes, I used to work at a country club in Del Mar, and they would do a daddy-daughter dance at the country club, and Philip Rivers was a member. So he would come to that dance every year, and he would bring all his daughters, and so he would have to go out there and dance with like, well, I don't know how many daughters he has at this point, but it was like my mom would tell me that he'd be out there with like 4 different kids, like literally just an entire roster in his house.
I think for Philip Rivers, and then he went to the Colts and he played pretty well for the Colts as well. I think it wasn't that point, but I think overall, like obviously being a Broncos fan and playing against Philip Rivers, like it was kind of exciting. Or overall, like the division, we all kind of knew about Philip. Like, hey, they call him Crybaby Philip. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause he would always have something to say, always chirping and stuff, talking to the refs, talking to the players, whatever, the opposite team, always chirping and stuff like that. But I think overall, I mean, I came to a point where like I kind of accepted Philip Rivers and I'm like he was a good he really was a good quarterback. Obviously he doesn't got much of the accolades to kind of go with it in terms of like getting a ring or anything like that. Obviously would have been nice to probably see him get a ring, but I definitely can see him being Hall of Fame. Obviously he's going to be in the if we had the San Diego Chargers, he would have been in that Ring of Fame for the San Diego Chargers right there in the Qualcomm Stadium, man. But I mean, I got the privilege of watching Philip Rivers live. It was Jaguar games though, so it was kind of that's when they had like this is a Blake Bortles era and stuff like that, and like all that stuff. So I did get the privilege of watching him play live, and I think you said you actually met him yourself, and you said he's a pretty good guy.
Yeah, super nice. I mean, I was down the street from where I worked at the country club. Is a gas station. This was when they were in LA too, and this was in the summer, so I'm pretty sure they were just in training camp. It wasn't during the season. Very surprised that he was in Del Mar in San Diego. When I saw him, I was like, "What the hell?" But when he came in, tall ass dude, big ass motherfucker. Let me put that out there, big as shit. I see him, and I was
hold on, pause.
pause. My bad, but. When I saw him, like as a Raider fan, and I've always like sat here and throughout the seasons, I watched the Raider Charger games and I talk my shit about Phillip Rivers. Even as good of a quarterback he was, you could always count on Phillip Rivers to throw a late game pick when you need him to throw a touchdown, like type deal. I
Oh
could have sat
God.
there and talked the most amount of shit, whatever. I said, "Holy shit, Phillip Rivers," and he said, "How's it going, man?" And just stuck his hand out and shook my hand. Just nice. Didn't you know what I mean? Just a nice dude. He wasn't
Mhm.
cold. He wasn't a some of these guys, you hear stories, they'll ignore you. They won't want to interact with their fans and people that they see out in public. But he was just, absolutely nice. Southern hospitality
Yeah,
for real.
Southern hospitality at its finest for him, man. And hey, shout out to Phillip Rivers for having an amazing career. Like I said, who knows how it would have turned out if he did not get traded that day on draft day. If he would have been with the Giants, Jaron, who knows how his career would have turned out. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to him. Hey, all of his antics and everything that he would do, hey, I do miss those late game interceptions though. I ain't gonna lie, but especially when you guys blew a 24-0 lead against my Denver Broncos in 2012, that was amazing right there. So,
The Chargers might have rings if Phillip Rivers didn't go to the Chargers.
you know what? Hey, in the most respectful way, maybe. You know what? All my
Yes,
Chargers
yes.
fans, let's come to agreement here that you guys might have had some rings if your old boy Phillip
Shit.
wasn't there. But hey,
You give Eli fucking LT and Antonio Gates? Shit.
hey, he would have went crazy, man. But hey, again, shout out to Phillip Rivers and congratulations, and hope you have a great retirement with all 30 of your kids. No, I'm playing, but hey, Jared,
Hey, one of them's about to be in the NFL too. Well, I'm
hey,
sorry, good.
is his name? Is it it was like his oldest one for sure. I know.
Like his name is like Gunner or something like that.
Gunner, go Gunner. All right, hey, everyone look out for Gunner. Hey, Jaron, next thing is, look, the Steelers released their new jerseys, Jaron. Did you see the new jersey that the Steelers had? Hey, I ain't gonna lie. Those might be up there as one of the ugliest jerseys. What's your opinion on it?
It's a fine. There's a fine line, because it's like there's historic, and there's just plain old ugly, fugly. It looks like a soccer kit. When you look at it from the front, it looks like a soccer kit. If you put it on and I just saw the number and there was like, I didn't see the back of the jersey. I don't know if I would be able to identify it as a Steelers jersey. But apparently it's paying homage to a jersey that they had out in what the 30s, the 40s,
30s or something. I don't know. We weren't alive for it. But I think I'm just surprised they didn't have the Bumblebee or revamp the Bumblebee ones. You know what I'm talking about? The stripe ones. I'm surprised they didn't want to revamp those ones. I mean, in terms of that, because I know the Giants had their reveal too. The Giants ones were ass too. But overall, I think the Steelers definitely have probably one of the ugliest jerseys, I think, for sure. Because I don't know if you've seen the Giants one. It's up there with them, like in that realm. Or even, I would even go as far as like, the Color Rush. Remember the Color Rush era? Oh my goodness.
I was just thinking about the mustard ketchup game, the Chiefs
Man.
and the Chiefs Rams with
Man.
the all yellow jerseys. Disgusting.
That shit was disgusting. Now, hey, Jared, look, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but look, so finally, the owner of the Bengals, Mike Brown, went on to speak up about the amid all the Stewart contract conversation going on, Jared. So this is what he had to say, right? So he basically said that number. What is it? The holdup in getting number 17 pick Shamar Stewart signed isn't about money, but rather about contract guarantees and extreme disciplinary scenarios. Let's kind of get into this. He said, look, this is what Brown said. He said, if we get a player who does something unacceptable, guess what? I don't want to pay him. I really don't. If he's sitting in jail, I don't think I have to pay him, Brown said. What in the world? Wait, hold on. I ain't gonna lie, Sharon. That sounds kind of racist to me. If I'm being real, because you're just assuming that the Shamar Stewart's gonna go to jail. Like when has this ever been in the contract language ever in the NFL? I don't know. I correct me if I'm wrong. I've never seen this before.
True, you've never seen it before, for sure. He's implementing something that has not been done for any other first round pick that the Bengals specifically have drafted. So it is crazy. But on the other hand, to like be the devil's advocate, you got a lot of guys in the NFL, doing a lot of dumb shit in college. They get to the league and they do a lot of dumb shit. You got, like Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Quinshawn Judkins, Henry Ruggs, like Jalen Carter, like these, you know, you got a lot of guys who have done very, very,
Mhm.
very, very, very bad things, and they're still on these rosters and still being paid. So I can understand why you'd be like, okay, you know, if he does this, that, or this, I don't want to pay him. I understand it, but you've never done that. You've never done that.
Yeah, and maybe it is because Mike Brown's kind of like looking at it from the outsider's perspective. Like, okay, I am seeing all these either these draft picks or players going, you know, getting in legal trouble, which is
Yeah.
understandable. I understand that part, but it's like it's kind of crazy. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think Shamar Stewart may or may not. I don't want to question his character, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he may or may not have some issues in college himself. Maybe they're just trying to put that on there, so you know. So nothing, you know, extreme happens on that end. I don't know. I don't know if he had behavioral issues. I know there was one guy that did. I think it was Mike Green at Tulane. He had some behavioral issues, but I don't know if they were like legal issues. But in terms of this, so I don't know. I think it is a little extreme though. I think. I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe this is just the first time it's coming to light. And maybe sometimes players don't actually even read their contract and they just sign it. And then that is in the thing, like the stipulation, like, hey, if you go to jail, I'm not paying you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I mean, it's like I would understand if you're drafting a guy who's got some type of record, but Shamar Stewart isn't a fucking criminal. He's not. He's
Mhm.
not some bad person. He's a first round NFL draft pick, rightfully so. You pay him like that. And that's it. I don't think it should be more than that.
Definitely. Jaron, next thing, our last thing here, Jaron. Look, we talked about Damian Lillard, you know, going back to the Portland. Looks like CP3 is going back to LA. Jaron, how do you feel about that?
Everybody's going back to their exes. It's crazy.
Oh God. Don't get any Jaron, don't get any funny
No,
ideas. Don't get
no,
any
no, 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 no,
funny
no, 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 no,
ideas,
no.
Bucko.
Let's keep that
No,
off of this.
no. The main thing, the what? No, Darren, no, because you messed up. The main, the theme here is everyone going back home. When are you coming back home, Darren? We need you back
Shit,
home.
man. I'll make sure I put out a report. I'll hit up Woj, even though he's retired. I'm still gonna hit up Woj and tell him, you know, to put that out there once I'm on my way home. But soon enough.
Hey, but it looks like, I mean, I think in terms of CP3, Jaron, he kind of said like, hey, he understands he's probably not going to get starting minutes. He's just there to kind of, you know, probably be a mentor role for sure. And then, you know, whatever, you know, just go back home with his family, which you should be doing. But, you know, hey.
My only thing is like, yeah, great for Chris Paul. He probably will retire in a Clippers uniform, rightfully so. Get his jersey retired. Great. Well, what the fuck are the Clippers cooking over there? Like they got all the unks on one team.
Oh God, they got some old heads over there, man. I don't know. We've seen this tango before. We've seen this kind of dance before. So,
Yeah, I mean,
only time will tell. But we don't got much time, and those guys don't got much time. But also, our time is up here, by the way, Jaron. So, look, I want you guys to let me know down below what you guys think about these speed round topics. You know, let me know how you feel about the episode in general. If you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, leave them down below. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Please leave a like as well. Jaron, I hope you have a good rest of your day. Noah, thank you so much for all you've been doing today as well. You guys have a great one.
yeet.